now in our group, like 1,800.
Something like that, almost
Quite a
2,000.
bit.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized
Quite a
group.
bit, yes.
So, welcome to the show. This is our very first live, and I'm sure I'm going to mess it up. I already have. I've switched their names around. So, my name is Terry Wells Brown again. I have a series of books. The first two are out, Women of Wine Country, Murder and Mayhem. And then the second one, Lawyer and Liar, that just released. And the third to come out is Beauty and Betrayal. So stay tuned for those. They're available on Amazon. So this is our very first show, and I want to say thank you first off to my two sisters that have come to join me on my foray. I'm sure I'm going to goof this up, and it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll laugh about it later on. I also want to let everybody know you can go find out more about us on podcast Women of Wine Country. We have a Facebook group, Women of Wine Country, and my author page, T. Wells Brown. So let's just get that out of the way. Oh, and then a website, www.womenofwinecountry.com. So I've done my duties. My son will be happy with me now. So let's a little bit of a story, a little bit of info behind Women of Wine Country. So I started the Women of Wine Country group. Oh, gosh, I think it was 2014 I started. I was still working for almond grower in the San Joaquin Valley, and I moved around quite a bit, or traveled around quite a bit for him. And I would tell people where I was from, which was the Lodi wine appellation. And I would say I was from the Zinfandel capital of the world. And nobody knew what I was talking about. They all said, oh, Napa, you're from Napa, or Sonoma, that kind of thing. So it was my mission back then to create awareness for our wine appellation, which was much smaller than it is now. And so I created Women of Wine Country, and I created a YouTube channel with the idea that we would do kind of drama documentaries, or what do they call those? Dramamentaries, or docudramas, with like a cast of women, and we would go to events at the wineries, the local wineries that we had, and we would film them, and then promote them on the YouTube. And at this point, YouTube was really blowing up. I mean, it wasn't the monster then that it is today, but it was still, the YouTube stars were being developed at that point. So I got a cast of women together, and we started going out to these events. And it's just like with anything, when you get a group of women together, especially if you put them on camera, nobody's agreeing on anything, right?
Exactly.
And the women were fantastic. They're amazing women. They're still amazing women.
Yes.
But I wasn't prepared for how much work it was going to be. And I had a full-time job where it was more than full-time. I was an executive for an almond grower, and he had several manufacturing facilities. So I had a lot. I was working 16-hour days. And so to take this on too was like, no way. I was not prepared for all that it was going to take. So I pulled back from that and just devoted myself into my construction company. I left my job, and I came back to the family business, which is our construction company, JG Construction, and kind of just kept the group going, the Women of Wine Country group on Facebook, but didn't really move forward with that at all. And over, I would say, this last couple of years, the Women of Wine Country has kind of really seen a resurgence. And with that, we have, twice the wineries that we had when I first started. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a little bit of a really short background of the Women of Wine Country and how it got started. So, and through that, I've met you two ladies,
right,
who are my now favorite sidekicks to have.
We are so fortunate.
We are fortunate.
Guys, these are the real troublemakers over here.
You're the amazing one, believe me.
Oh, no, we're a tribe of amazing people.
All,
so, first, let's introduce Renee. And Renee, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. This is Renee Hanna, and I am, I guess you would call, the event coordinator for all the wine tastings that we do with the group Women of Wine Country. There are 82 wineries in the Lodi area, which is amazing.
That's quite a bit.
We are catching up to Napa very quickly. So I coordinate the monthly wine tastings at the different local wineries. It's a super fun event, and we're growing, and more women are coming and participating in the wine tasting, and it's just a super fun time, sisterhood and sharing, and supporting each other,
Yeah.
and the wineries are actually really receptive to what we're doing. And we've only done two. We've only done 2 so far, and they're already having fun with this.
I know.
You know, the last one we went to, I mean, they provided a meat and cheese platter.
know.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Go
you
ahead and
know,
name who it is.
Thomas Allen Winery on Woodbridge Road, and they are a fantastic winery. They also are starting to promote a line of wine made specifically by women,
That's awesome.
which is
That's
awesome
amazing.
Yeah.
for women of wine country.
Yay.
Well, and we were so lucky that at our wine tasting event,
We got the sneak
we
peek.
got the sneak peek. And tell us a little bit about that. It's not just the winemakers, but the labels.
Well, and so it's all women. The winemakers are all women. They all have a different degree of background in the industry. The label maker is a woman. The designs of the labels are amazing. We didn't get to sneak tastes of the wine yet because they're not releasing it, I think, December is what they
I
said.
thought they were going to start putting it out before Halloween because that was the October wine
Was
tasting.
it?
I thought we were, and then I thought it was funny when we went to go take a taste or try to see if we could open it. They snatched the bottles
Yeah.
back from
Yeah.
us. They didn't
Well,
trust our group.
If they hadn't already released, they're coming to get released.
We should check on that.
shortly. Yes, but it's amazing. It's a whole aspect, and the winery, the owners of the winery, Thomas Allen Winery, are men, and they're letting these women shine.
Oh, awesome.
And each wine is different. Each label is different. Each woman that is involved in that has a different level of experience in the wine industry. And I just think it's amazing that the 2 men, the owners, are stepping aside and letting these women do this project.
Well, and
awesome.
didn't you think too that when he was telling us about it, it was so neat how emotional he got. He
Yes.
talked about his mother, he talked about his daughter,
Wow.
Yes.
and creating. Because the winemaking is, we do have a lot of women winemakers now, but it's still predominantly a male industry.
Right.
It really
Right.
is. And he had the pride and emotion that he had when
Right.
he talked about it. I thought was
That's
really
amazing.
neat.
Well, and
Yeah,
he
it
said
really
he
was.
wanted to leave a legacy for his daughter.
Right.
Not just in a man's world, in a woman's world, where
Right.
women know probably sometimes more in this industry than the men, but it's mostly a male-dominated industry. So that change is awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool. It's really cool that we've got a man stepping up and taking his winery to the next level and coming current for the females he's leaving. His
Yeah,
his legacy.
absolutely.
Right, that's
His legacy
amazing.
is going to be for participating in bringing the women into this industry. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. So with that being said, we are just moving forward. Like I said, 82 wineries, so we have a lot of options
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
book future tastings with. And so far, we're having a good reception with the wineries.
Yes.
They're glad to have us. They're excited to have us. And that's just gonna get bigger and bigger and
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
And our group is gonna get bigger and bigger
It
and
is.
bigger.
Well, we saw a big difference from the first tasting that you had done, which is Durst,
Right.
which is also another amazing winery.
Absolutely.
And Cassandra Durst, who's the owner,
Yes.
another female
Female.
person in the winery. but
Absolutely.
she was just so gracious and finished
Very.
us off with the sparkling wine. So that was so
Yes.
nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving forward, if you want to join our tribe, just like our group on Facebook, Women
Yeah.
of Wine Country,
And get involved.
Get involved. We, do a lot of other things, and I'll let the others tell you. But
Well, we have one coming up this Friday.
we have one coming up, and if you're hearing this, please feel free to come. It's open to anyone that wants to participate, and they're always super fun. And you never know what's going to be said or what's going to
That's
happen.
a fact. Well, I think it's really funny because I posted, and this is the truth. During the last wine tasting, we were having so much fun that we stopped tasting and just started drinking.
Exactly.
And I remember one of the gals putting her glass up and saying, I think I need another pour. It was so
Yeah,
fun.
it was
I
fun.
missed that
Okay,
last one.
so why don't you tell us where the next few are? How far out are we booked?
I'm only booked so far out through February, which, I started doing this back in August, so that was pretty far ahead, but now I need to get back on. So this Friday is Nostra Vita, and then December is Berghold, which is absolutely beautiful at Christmas time.
Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
never been
just
there.
so you can not
Oh,
only
I
wine
can't wait.
taste, but you can do some Christmas shopping
Oh,
too.
nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Berkhold is
Oh, it's
amazing.
beautiful.
It's one you
Good.
don't want to miss
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
You don't want to miss.
So, and then January is
Clinker.
Clinker Brick.
Yeah,
that's right.
and
Clinker
I want to
Brick.
I'm going to interrupt you a little bit with Clinker Brick because what we're going to do there is do a soft book signing, a book
good.
launch
Right.
for the second book.
Oh.
And it's just for everybody who doesn't know, Clinker Brick is one of our family-owned wineries in Lodi, in the Lodi wine appellation, who had several parts of their winery featured in the first book,
Yep.
Murder and Mayhem.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it was really thrilling when they came to the launch party and were like, just the owner was so excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so she's invited us out for January, and Renee was so gracious to get that set up, and there she's going to let us do a book launch there as well.
Yep. And then February, we're doing Peltier, and they are another amazing winery. I had a business working relationship with them, and they are super excited to have us. They have donated wine for different functions that we have done for raffles and such, but they're super excited to have us. So I've only got us booked through February, so I need to get back on the phone and start booking some more. I mean, we've just barely touched the surface of the 82 wineries that are local.
I mean, how long will it take us? There's only 12 months in a year, so if we're only doing
I
12,
know.
well,
I mean,
we
we're
might
not,
have to start double
Doubling
booking.
them up.
And
I'm
right
not
now,
complaining.
yeah, exactly. And right now we're doing Fridays between 2 and 5.
Right.
And
I'm going to start doing alternating Fridays and Saturdays because some women are, can't be there on a Friday.
Right,
So I am
yeah.
going to start alternating Fridays and Saturdays. But the tastings are always start around 2, between 2 and 3, and they go till 5. And that's because the wineries can only serve until 5. So, and we're always welcome to stay and drink what wine we have, but servings are only till 5, so they're never later than that. And that's why I want to start doing some Saturdays as well, so that more women can
Yeah.
participate that
Yeah.
really want to be part of it as well.
yeah, I don't think we realized how many women were going to want to show up. I think we thought it would be like 5 of us.
Right.
It's growing. It's
Yeah, and
growing.
then the second time, the first showing, we had a good size, and we were really happy with how many women showed up. We had 8 or 9 or something
9,
like that.
I think.
Yeah.
And then the second time,
We
I
had-
don't think you came to the second one, did
No,
you?
I missed the second one.
And we had a bunch of women
It was
show
like
up.
15.
And one of the
That's
things I
awesome.
thought was neat, and this is so true to us women, is we said this time we're bringing food. So everybody brings
Yeah.
something.
Hey,
I mean, well, that just makes a party. Well,
Yeah.
now you've got alcohol and food and
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
great company.
We had more than enough food.
Awesome.
And one of the ladies that came for the first time
Yes.
made these fabulous cupcakes
Yes.
Oh, I heard
from
about
the Thomas Allen wine
Wow.
with a little syrup
Like
that
a
goes on
port-
top.
Mm.
Oh my God, were they amazing?
It was amazing. In fact, I started taking pictures because all the women kept sneaking over there and eating them. They were so good.
Yeah, they were. So that was fun. That was
well, it
unexpected. And
was.
she did that because she knew she was going to Thomas Allen, and that's one
Yeah.
of her favorite wines. So I thought that was really cool.
It was neat.
Yeah.
It was really neat. So the wine tastings have really become
Mhm.
kind of like, I can't wait for wine tasting on Friday. It was like, that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the thing that I look
Yes,
forward to now.
yes.
It's like, okay, I can make it through this because I know on Friday I get to go hang out with
It's
my
like,
girls.
Yeah, it's like me time with my girls, and
Yes.
we're just gonna just
And
Yes.
laugh and cut
Laugh
up
and-
and cry if we need to.
Exactly, and,
Yeah,
and
put
just
work in the back
say
burner and just relax.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, it's
Exactly.
really nice. It really is.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, Renee. I
Well, you're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Yeah, and thank you for all your hard work. You've really
No
made it
problem.
an amazing program. program.
Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think that we realized when we started the Women of Wine Tasting it was going to be as successful as it was.
Exactly.
And so it is.
So it's fun.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of fun. So stay tuned, and if you are interested in being joining us on the Women of Wine Tasting for our monthly wine tasting, you'll see those. We post the events in the Facebook group. Yeah.
Awesome.
And so my next guest here is Rita Hill, my amazing Rita Hill, that I was renaming Rita Hannah.
It's Rita Hill.
You guys have the same initials. You
I know.
It messed me
Oh,
up.
Kinda
that's
hard.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I got
yes.
nervous when we first started, and so I was just going to rename you. You're like, yeah, I didn't call you Mickey Mouse, which I might later on. And Rita, I met when she contacted me to be part of her Women and Wine photo exhibit. And so you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I'm new to the area. I moved here a couple years ago with my husband. He had a job transfer, so he's working out of Elk Grove. And started a business, opened up my studio in Lodi. And I decided what's a good way for me to get my artwork out there and show people what I do. I'm new to the area. This is what I do. So I decided to start these special projects in promoting individuals, women who are in business or entrepreneurs or just getting them into what they do. And I wanted to call it Women and Wine. Being new to the Lodi area, I noticed all these wine venues, wine tasting rooms, it's mostly women.
Yeah.
So I said, well, you know what? This is women in wine country.
Absolutely.
You know, and I remember hearing something like that. So I put a post on Facebook some time ago about referrals. Anybody want to refer me a woman in business or an entrepreneur? I want to feature a woman in wine series, photo series. So I decided to capture a portrait of each individual woman in their, capture their personality in the digital format, and then show a photo exhibit at a winery or at a venue and promote them as well as promoting what I do.
Yeah.
So it's actually networking.
Yeah.
Didn't cost them a cent. It's just basically me, I'm paying for all this out of my pocket
Yeah.
just to promote what I do.
Which
as
is
well,
amazing.
As well
Very
as
amazing.
helping
Yeah.
them on their
Right.
their venue. My next series I'm working on now is Women in Music. And again, I'll be finding a local winery, wine tasting area, or even at the studio, and showing the exhibit of these women in music. Local women from the Stockton, Elk Grove to Lodi, area that. There's a lot of women who entertain at a lot of these wine tasting rooms, and
Absolutely.
why not give them a little bit of exposure? And I want to capture each one in a nice photo portrait setting, and load these up and put them out for display. And again, it's just all about networking, helping each other. I'm giving them exposure. It's giving me exposure. It's all what we're about. We got to support each other in what we do, and getting into the Women in Wine series, I met so many wonderful women. I met you, Terry, in that
Yeah,
way.
that's right.
And I've been so blessed since I met you. And I jumped on board on the Women in Wine Country project that you have here, this club. I love it. And again, everybody helps everybody out
Absolutely.
in support in what they do.
Yeah.
You share resources, exchange information. It's a great group.
It really
It really
is.
is.
And you're very talented.
Oh, well,
You
thank
really
you very
are.
much.
Very
thank
talented.
you very much.
I have to say that when Rita got a hold of me to do the Women in Wine Country, I didn't even have my first book out yet.
Yeah, you
So
didn't.
I
That's
did. My
correct.
first book hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
And so when she got a hold of me, I'm like, that's weird.
I know.
And then you had told me once who recommended me, and I don't even know that person. So that
don't
was kind
remember
of
who it
interesting. It
was.
was a man who had recommended me.
Yes, in fact, I think it was Davin or Davin.
I don't-
He's
I
a
don't
real good
know.
friend of mine. He gave me a list of women because I was new to the area. I don't know everybody, and I just asked for referrals, and that's how I got
Yeah.
my women. I was always asked, well, how do they get picked? I go, well, by referral, because I don't know everybody.
Yeah.
So I would ask just people I meet. Do you know an entrepreneur or woman
Yeah.
who is real
And that's how
dominant or
women
involved in the
shine through.
community?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
by referral. And
That's right.
so if you're that dominant,
right.
you're a strong woman, and you're a leader, why not?
Yeah, no, I'm thankful
I'm
for
going to
him.
put you on the spotlight. And then what I do is when the women came in, I had different photo sessions. You come in, we chat, I get to know who you are. I caught you as being you saw my
The steampunk.
my steampunk stuff in my
yes.
studio because I love steampunk, and I go, she's really into this.
Yeah,
And
I
go,
love the
okay.
steampunk.
Yes, she does.
So I said, okay, I got an idea for you, and it came together, and I've never got so many hits on your portrait.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
amazing.
it was
It's
amazing.
amazing. It's
It
an
was so
iconic
much fun.
picture for me.
Thank you.
It
It was so
is. It's
much fun.
iconic.
And I love
you
it.
showcased me so beautifully. All of the pictures that you've done of me are just stunning.
These women were amazing. Every one of them were just
Yeah.
stunning.
Well,
for
and
me
I
to
think
work
it's
with.
really cool, like how like some of them were watercolors and some of
Yes.
them were a little fantasy and just gorgeous. And one of them you added some wings because I fell in love with
She
your
loves-
big black wings.
Yeah. I do a lot of art stuff in my studio. I do. I build my own sets, my own props, and own costumes to get the image I want to get. So I'm
amazing.
unique as a studio photographer.
Absolutely. And again, you're
So-
amazing.
Thank you.
She really
I mean,
is.
That takes talent to do the
really
stuff
does.
that you do. So
I love what I do, and I want to share it with everybody I meet.
Well, and I want to talk a little bit about that because not only are you amazing studio photographer, but you also have a photography club where you
Yes.
encourage other photographers and teach.
Absolutely. It's called Friends of Photography. And I was involved in a group back in the Fresno, Clovis area. And we met once a month. It was like professional, amateur, or upcoming photographers. We just get together once a month and we just photo talk, or we go on a photo trip, or we do a photo shoot, and we share ideas, share new techniques. That's how you learn, you know. I don't mind sharing what I know to other photographers, up and coming photographers. I've got a couple of guys who come in to the studio on Saturday mornings, and we just play, and I show them creative ideas of what they can do, you know, in
Right.
photography. And it's just the point of sharing and learning, and if I can inspire somebody, then I've done what I've done.
Amen,
You know?
sister.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great group. It's a great club. I just started it. Still looking for more people who want to join. And again, it's a free little get together of Friends of Photography.
Well, I can tell you that Casey Evans, who did my other
Yes.
pictures with my dogs,
Yes.
because you were too scared to do them with my
He is
dogs.
so excited. I love him. He's so wonderful.
Says the nicest things about you.
Oh, thank
like
you.
he can't believe you're even a real person. Like
He's got a great eye.
He really
he
does.
is a great photographer.
He really
For an
does.
amateur, he's not giving himself enough credit. He's
I
done
agree with
great
you.
jobs.
I agree with you. He's very
I'm very
modest,
proud
but
of him,
you know,
yes.
most artists
Yeah, we
tend to be.
are, yeah.
We're all a little paranoid and.
Casey is an amazing friend of mine, and I just adore him and his wife. They're just two beautiful people.
They really are.
Yeah, enjoy them.
Don't you think during this whole process it's been neat how these really good people have kind of found each other and we're
Yes.
forming this really cool
Absolutely.
Circle
like,
of friends.
Absolutely.
It's a
Yes.
circle of friends. I was
Yep.
telling my husband that being new to the area, it's, you know, you meet people, they come and go,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of click with some and you don't. But then there's ones that you click with that you know that you just feel good about.
Yep.
These are good people. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by doing what my Women in Wine portrait project, I've met so many wonderful ladies, and I'm real good friends with these ladies, and I'm proud to be in their circle. you know?
Absolutely.
Now, how many of the
I love
ladies
it.
did you already know? So how many were there?
I didn't
all
really
of
know
us?
hardly. I knew a couple because
How many of us were there first?
I photographed 12 ladies.
12 of us. Okay.
Yes, 12, and I'm still very good friends with all 12 of them. you
Yeah,
know,
I bet you are.
It kind of grows my friendship list, you know,
yeah.
which is awesome, especially being new to an area. Now starting this, I'm almost done with my Women in Music. I met some beautiful, wonderful women that are in the music scene. My husband's a professional musician. He plays for a network. He's a bass player, and I play a little tunes here and there. But
She doesn't give herself enough credit. She also is a songwriter.
I get into this music scene with him, and it's good for him because he needs to, you know, tie into the music industry
Right.
too.
Right.
And it's been a blast. It's been a blessing. It really has. It
Well,
really
we
has.
are very blessed where we live to have some amazing female musicians for
absolutely.
you.
There's some.
And when I first met you and you told me you were doing music, the Women in Music next,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you have to get with Christine.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to get with
Christine
Christine
Todd
Taunton.
and,
Yes.
and her
She-
husband
yes,
Dustin.
you have to
they're
get with them.
amazing
They're
couple.
amazing. Absolutely.
But you're amazing in that, and you bring that out in people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a blast at the studio. We had a great time Sunday. They came over and,
Yeah.
you know, we sit and talk, and we killed a bottle of wine. It was amazing.
Imagine that.
What, there was wine involved?
No, yes, no, she was just amazing. I adore them, and so
Yeah.
again here I met a new couple in my life. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like There's
And they're
always
really quality people.
Yes, absolutely.
Really quality people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So yeah,
good.
so now I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm looking forward to getting more involved in the women in wine country and helping
Yeah.
out and volunteering and doing what I can.
Well, do you know that iconic steampunk picture you did of me is the reason that Pablo Limon with Love for Lodi and Violet Lens got a hold of me to do that video of the launch party.
That's wonderful.
That was awesome.
See,
he
that makes me
saw
feel good that my
it
work
was,
helped
it was
something.
it was so wonderful, and he's a wonderful
Oh,
person.
absolutely.
Him
He
and his
are
wife. Oh, they're
yes.
amazing people.
They're great people.
I'll come and have them come out and come on too.
Yeah,
but-
he did a short video clip at the studio with me too.
Yep.
And kind, giving soul. Really, really.
He really
nice man.
is.
Mhm.
He's a good person.
Yes.
He really is. I really enjoy him a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so do you have any scheduled showings yet for Women in Music? Or
Actually, I am going to wait about another week and a half before I get my prints in. I ordered the enlargements, getting them matted, and then I got 2 venues who are pending getting back to me, so I don't want to post anything
Cool.
until it's confirmed. But the first one I do have is at the studio in Lodi, where my studio is, and I invite the actual subjects, my models, with their spouses and family, and it's just kind of like a little wine and cheese thing, and they get to be the first ones to view the images, and then I start putting them out in the community as
Cool,
for,
and I
for
bet
viewing.
they'll be amazing, just like everything else.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure
it's
they're
been a
gonna be
blast. I'm
great.
really happy with this because I love music, but,
Yeah.
So they've been amazing. These
Yeah.
subjects, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun when she had ours. It was like,
Mhm.
and everybody came. It
Yeah,
was amazing.
it was a full house. It was
Yeah.
great.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you've done.
Oh, I can't wait to show you.
Yeah. Are you going to try to do it after the holidays, or are you going to do
Oh
it?
no, it'll probably be right after Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it'll be
Soon.
after Thanksgiving. Yes.
Okay.
Soon.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay. Well, do you guys
Yeah.
have any other events before I move on to talk about myself again?
No, you go right ahead.
This is all you, sister. This is all
So,
you.
because this is the first show, I wanted to talk a little bit about the book series and kind of how I started writing. And I didn't know, are we good still? Yeah. Okay. And how I started writing in the book series and all of that, and the Women of Wine Country. So, I don't know if everybody knows, but the reason I had left the job that I was at for almost 8 years was because I started getting sicker and sicker. And come to find out, I had a gallbladder it was actually a liver that was putting out stones, and they were getting stuck in my gallbladder.
Oh, my goodness.
And I, for 6 years, was getting sicker and sicker and sicker, right? And my doctor didn't diagnose me. And like so many times, especially women our age, I would get assigned a prescription or written a prescription and sent home.
Yeah.
Like for 6 years, you guys, I would be
Yeah.
in the emergency room.
Oh, you poor thing.
And then, as you guys all know, what happens is when you have a condition or an illness or a disease or something, it lowers your immune system. So not only are you dealing with whatever it is
Right.
that you're dealing with, but you start catching every single
Yep.
thing that comes around, and
Oh,
you
my
get it 10
goodness.
times
Yeah.
worse than everybody else.
Yeah.
So I was literally sick every single week. I was catching. I didn't have a healthy day for 6 years.
Right.
And so finally, by the 6th year, I maybe had 30 good days, like all
Oh, my
year long.
goodness.
So I was in bed most of the time. And I've always been a big reader. And so I basically read everything I could get my hands on. And then I was rereading stuff.
Right.
And then I was like bored with that. And so I just started writing the stuff that I wanted to read that I'd already read 500 times. And I just got sick of reading it. So I started writing. And I'd always fallen back to writing. I was a military brat, and both my parents were in the military, and we used to hop around until I was a teenager, and we settled in the South in Georgia. But I used to hop around, and so one of the things that I did was write stories. And I wrote stories. My first stories I started writing when I was 7
Oh, my
was
goodness.
Young,
about
yeah.
a charm bracelet, and that's why the charm bracelet came into the grown-up series. Now, when I was 7,
Wonderful.
I didn't know what sterling silver was or any of that, right?
Yeah.
It was just a silver-colored bracelet,
Right.
right? And it was a story about a group of little girls that would get sent away, and it was kind of like in the same vein of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yeah.
But this was way before that,
Yeah.
right? So there was this charm bracelet, and like one of the girls had to go off to
Yeah.
camp, and she didn't want to go to camp. She wanted to spend the summer with her friends, and she ended up going to camp, and she so her job was to put something on the charm bracelet and bring it back to the girls. And it ended up being, back in the day, This was back when they had the soda pop cans, and
Mm-hmm.
you would pull
Pull the
off
tabs
the
off.
tab
I
off.
remember
Yeah.
those.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
remember the little tip would curl up
Yeah.
a little
remember
bit.
those,
Yeah.
yes.
And so it was at summer camp, so they didn't have a store or anything, and so that's what she attached to the charm bracelet. And that was
Wow.
like amazing to them, right?
Mhm.
And then as a little girl writing it, that was so amazing, right? So that was her charm she brought back, because that was what she did.
Oh,
That's
Cool. Yeah.
wonderful.
And
That
so-
inspired you to just continue
Yeah,
writing.
and then the second girl. Now I have like the whole stories, right? The second girl's grandmother passed away, and they had to go somewhere in the East Coast. And in my, I didn't know. I was 7. I didn't know what the East Coast was or Boston. It was just far away, right? And so I sent her away, and it was her grandma was like. So anyway, I wrote the story.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I had written a story about a charm bracelet, and I had been given a charm bracelet. I'm sure it was just a cheapy little charm bracelet by one of my aunts who had come out from California to see us, and so that's what I structured it
That's
all on.
wonderful.
And I don't have that charm bracelet anymore. I don't have any of those stories anymore. But so that's when I started writing, and that was the first time I started writing to really kind of comfort myself, because we moved around so much, and it was hard to make friends, and then we would move, and then and it's hard.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
these girls became my friends that I wrote stories about. Well, one of them is Sydney, and one of them is Jenna, who is in the third book, and one of them was Raquel, who was the first book, right?
So how do you get your creativity in the storyline?
I don't know.
It just comes to your
Yeah,
head.
and I've been
That's
making up
amazing.
stories my whole life,
That's-
right?
So she's always had it.
And I didn't know. I didn't know that I was making up stories that would translate onto paper, and I also didn't know that when I started writing, that other people would be able to read it and understand what I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when I got so sick that I was bedridden, I started writing and writing and writing with no intention that anybody would ever read my stuff until Don got a hold of few of my chapters, because I'd never let him read anything.
Oh.
And I was giving, and so he got a hold of a few of my chapters, and he got emotional. And if anybody knows my guy, he's a big, manly man kind of guy. He's
Way to
not
go,
like
Don. Yeah.
he's not like
Right.
he's not a soft, lovey,
No.
feely, touchy kind of guy. I mean, he's touchy, but not that way. I had to look to make sure the kid wasn't in the room. So that was it. He's like, you're a writer. This is what you need to do.
Yes.
You need to write. And at the time, I had actually started a second business, which was rehabbing furniture. I had collected a whole bunch of furniture. I had 2 storage units full of it. I had started sanding and painting. And what my idea was, I was going to take those big old armoires and turn them into wine bars and coffee bars, because we don't have
Smart.
those big
Yeah.
TVs anymore.
Right.
And they would be so gorgeous to do that, and I still kind of want to do that. But he's like, you need to not do that, and you need to focus on writing. And so
Wow.
since I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to get out of bed, because we hadn't diagnosed yet what was wrong with me, I was like, yeah, well, I'm not going to be able to go paint anyway
Yes.
outside, because I'm too sick. So I started writing. I started then learning. Well, I needed to learn how to write. I need to learn the industry of writing, and that's something I've always been able to do. Is like, okay, this is what I want to do. Then now I need to know everything about that. I'm not trying to say I know everything about writing, because I don't. But I learned enough to get a book, published, to get my book published.
You've
And
come a long way.
amazing.
You've come a long way, Terry.
You
You're
love
amazing.
the book.
I love the books.
She,
I can't wait for the next one.
do you know I still haven't gotten my copy of the second book yet?
Are you serious?
I am.
Oh,
I am
no.
serious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
I'm gonna
they're,
hold
they're
them both
amazing.
up.
I got my book, and the day I got it, I read the entire thing. I
Ah.
could not put it down.
That's
It was
amazing.
so good. And then I'm done, and I'm like sad because
You didn't want
now
that.
it's done. Like, okay,
It's
Terry.
like watching a movie, now you gotta wait for
yeah,
next season.
yeah, it's like, come on, Terry.
Gotta wait
This
for
week
Friday.
she texts me and she's like, "When's the next one?"
Oh, that's great.
I say Renee's like my super fan. So she has access to me and she can
Yes,
boss me around
that's
too.
wonderful.
But
Amen to that.
praise God for her, right?
Yes,
Because honestly, when I
yes.
first put the first book out there, I wasn't sure. I had gotten beta readers, people who didn't know me, and I had a ton of other people reading the books. But honestly, I didn't believe that they were going to do anything.
Yeah.
But Renee getting my book first, she was the first one who went out and ordered it, because I didn't know what I didn't know. And what I didn't know was that I could do a pre-order on my Amazon, but I couldn't do a pre-order for the paperback. So when you
Uh-huh.
upload the ebook, you can do a pre-order. But if you upload a paperback, it goes live right away.
And she
And
didn't
so
realize.
I didn't know
You
that.
learn, hey, you learn as
I
you go.
figured
That's
it
how
out.
I learned.
You learn as
She
you go.
figured it out. She went
That's
on and she's
right.
like, I got my book. And I'm like, how'd you get the book? It's like not supposed to be out till August 13th, which was my birthday. I was giving
Aw.
myself the birthday present,
Yeah.
but it was so much better the way it worked out. God intervened. He's like, okay, babe, I'm going to take care of you here. He
know,
put
I-
Renee in my life.
Oh yeah, and I had to read like a couple chapters and then
Yeah.
text her. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm in tears. I'm crying. Okay, now I'm mad. Okay, now I'm laughing. And she was just like, oh my God. You know, so she was getting
This was the first
instant-
feedback I was
Yeah.
ever gotten.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was pretty
You know,
awesome.
It
I'm
was
not much of-
amazing.
I am not much of a reader until I befriended you.
Yeah.
And I go, well, I gotta be loyal. I gotta read this book. So
Oh.
I read. I'm still reading. I'm almost at the end of it. Because I'm so busy.
I know, girl.
But reading the book, it's like I'm sitting here and I'm reading a book. I'm enjoying this. It's like
Exactly.
I'm escaping this little moment of life that I'm going into somebody else's life and I'm reading it.
Yeah.
It's like it's so enjoyable.
And
the
I cannot
emotions.
believe how reading
Yes.
a book, a fiction or nonfiction,
Yes.
Yeah.
it can take you away from all your
and the
stress
emotions.
and mental.
And she gets you right from the get-go.
Yes, like, okay.
Right from the get-go.
and you can just picture this.
Yes.
I told her this could be a movie.
That's
This
the
could be a
next
movie.
project that we're working on.
Okay,
She
this
doesn't
should be a
realize
movie.
it, but this is gonna
TV
be
land out
movies.
there. This should be a movie.
Okay, everybody, you heard it here first.
No, I never was much for reading a book, buying a book or anything. But now it's like, okay, now I got to get the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, and I have to say, one of the biggest compliments that I've gotten from all of this is a lot of women who haven't read books in 20 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Are
I'm
picking
I'm
up
not
books
much of a
and
reader,
reading.
but now it's like, okay, now
Yeah,
I can really.
Nice.
that is
hooked.
what a
Well,
blessing.
the best part is the parts of the book when you read it. It's of the local area.
Yeah.
She mentions the area. So I'm not going to say
And even
enough
though
out
it's
there.
fiction, you know exactly
you
what,
know
she's
what she's
talking about.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I know what she's talking about. You know, what
Yeah.
road or whatever,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
ranch.
Absolutely.
And,
Wait till you read
girl,
the second
I
one.
know.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm not gonna.
Yes.
I'm not going to give
Yeah,
it away.
yeah, don't give it away.
No.
No, you're
Yeah.
a great inspiration.
Yeah.
You
Thank
really
you,
are,
sweetie.
Terry.
That's
you
so
really
nice. I really appreciate it. And I think there's so one of the lessons that I got from the being sick and having the books come from that is I don't care what you're facing. You can make something positive out of it if you choose to.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
So luckily for me, I was diagnosed and we found out it was a gallbladder and I was just getting terrible health care because I never
Wow.
should have suffered as long as I did. But if I hadn't have suffered as long as I did, I would never have started writing
Writing.
like I did and
Yep.
given it to Dawn or allow Dawn to read it because I just didn't care.
Things happen for a reason.
Well, that's just it. And I feel like there was some divine intervention where it was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep you sick until you get it, chick. You got to
Smart
get
man.
it, babes.
Smart man.
Yep.
So, you know,
Good.
I
Good
feel
for
like,
him.
I feel like there's some divine intervention there where it was like, you know, and then once you get that this is what your destiny is, then I'll let you be diagnosed.
Yeah.
And so, so that's a whole. And then I have I've got quite a few books in the queue, so to speak, but I lost my train of thought. So we've got the Women in Wine Country series, and there's 9 total books with that. The 3rd book should be out, we're hoping, by the end of the year. And then after that, I have 2 cookbooks I'm working on. So one of them is a Women of Wine Country cookbook, and it's a charity cookbook. And what I'm doing is I'm having all of the women in the tribe send me their recipes. And we've gone through appetizers, salads, soups and stews, and now we're moving into casseroles.
Okay.
And so
How about the cupcakes? The one you were talking about.
we're getting to those.
Is that going to be in there?
They have to be.
I missed out on the cupcakes.
They
so I need
have
to
to
get
be. They have to be.
Yeah.
So I have
Okay.
like a whole vision with the
Good.
the cookbooks, and you're getting roped in, sister.
I
mean,
know,
You don't even have you don't even have a choice. Like you're in. You're already signed up. You don't even
I know.
know it.
I know.
And so what we're going to do though is I'm getting the recipes and I'm getting history on each of the recipes. Like
Nice.
I grew up with my grandmother making this, and I remember summers out at Lodi Lake, and we would take this salad out to
Oh,
our picnics,
wonderful.
or so there's some substance to the recipes. It's not just a recipe in a cookbook.
Right.
It is
So
a
there's
recipe.
a story behind the
There's a story
recipe.
behind it.
Right.
And
Yes.
so then what we'll do is we'll do, we'll make the recipes, we'll do photos, but we're also going to video when we're making the recipes.
Oh, awesome.
And I'd like to do it at different wineries, do different recipes at different wineries.
And
And we're
pair.
going to put those on the YouTube channel and pair them with the wines. And put it on
Great
the YouTube
idea.
channel. So if
Yes.
you buy the cookbook, you'll go in there and you'll see, if you
How
would
it's
like to
done.
see this one prepared, go onto the YouTube channel and you can see it. So it's a little bit of interaction there. So the person that purchased the book can go also.
great
So now
idea.
we're
Yeah.
we're personalizing it by giving the recipes, the history of the recipe away. And now go look at our local chef. So and so is doing
Yeah.
the, like, let's say Heather Lee. She decides that we rope her in
Yeah.
and she get her to cook for us because she's part of our tribe.
She's amazing.
She's amazing, and get her on there, and she'll cook it up, and we'll
Absolutely.
have Renee pouring the wine,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
handing the salt, drinking the wine. Oh, that was for the recipe. Oh, sorry, let me pour you a little bit more.
I had a blast with
because
her in
that
the
never
studio.
happens. Yeah,
She was a blast in the studio. She was one of my subjects.
That's
for Women
right,
in Wine.
yes,
She was
yes.
amazing. She should be a model.
She should be.
She's
amazing.
a beautiful lady.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm going to get her in here too. She'll do it.
Good.
She'll come
I'm
on.
sure she'll
yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the cookbook. And now what's really cool about the cookbook is it's all for charity. So once we get our expenses paid for, what I'll do is every single month because I get the way it works with Amazon and Barnes & Noble, I get a tally on each book that I sell. So I can get a total, but then I also get a tally. And I'll
Nice.
post a tally every month of what we've sold and what we've made. And half of it will go to animal activism or
wonderful.
rescue. Excuse me. And the other half will go to women charity, women organizations that promote women
That's great. That's
in our
great.
area. So that is 100% what we're going to do. And then the other cookbook that I'm working on is a cookbook for how to live without a gallbladder, because
Wow.
people don't realize that it's actually your liver.
Okay.
And that's why, we have issues sometimes with,
Certain foods and
That's
stuff.
why wine tasting for me is so great, because I get to spit the wine out and still taste it.
Yeah.
And they don't like it when you do that with beer.
Yeah.
That's right.
They talk about
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So you go to a beer flight, you go to a beer tasting, and you try to drink it and spit it out. They're like, it's
Yeah.
like you
Oh,
committed
that's a
a
waste.
sin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I get it. I agree. It is sinful. So those are the cookbooks that I'm working on. And then I have another series that I will be doing, but it'll be a couple of years, and it's a fantasy, but it's based on the Day of the Dead mythology.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm right now in research mode. And so what happened is my son married a wonderful Mexican girl. Her name is Marissa, and she's probably going to get mad at me for saying this. Okay, but they're going to have a baby, and so I'll talk about that in another episode. I want to run through some events that are coming up before we have to go off, and we're 5 minutes down. So we have the cookbooks. This Sunday, we have a Delta Humane Society here in Stockton. We're doing a food and blanket drive for them. It's this Sunday at the Woodbridge Regional Park, which is 780 McCollum Street in Woodbridge. So if you have, it's from 1 to 4. If you have any blankets or animal food that you could bring, that would be great. We would really appreciate the donations. November 16th at Uncorked, we have the Wine and Craft Day, where we're going to be creating the decorations out of their wine corks. So 5,000 wine corks that we
Yeah.
collected and drilled.
Imagine that.
I can't believe they drilled
I
holes
know,
in all of us.
and we're going to be making garland and all of the things there, and drinking lots of wine, so that'll be fun. Watch for Santa and the Misses on Good Day Sacramento, December 10th at 8 and 9 a.m. We'll be on Good Day Sacramento talking about the Wine Country Christmas that is going to be happening December 14th down in Woodbridge, and it is amazing. It is so fun. It's our second annual one. It's benefiting the Woodbridge Fire District Toy Drive, and then we have here at the studio on the Miracle Mile the Wine Stroll November 30th. So that'll be the Wine Stroll November 30th is from 3 to 7 p.m. And we will have a little open house here. And then after that, we kick off our Woodbridge Wine Country Christmas with a concert on November 30th and our tree lighting.
That's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
And
gonna
then-
be
So much fun.
beautiful.
Last but not
Yes.
least, this Saturday, November 9th, I will be speaking at the leadership.org class that our friend Kathy Woodsbacher is putting on. And if you have any questions about that, she has a Facebook page, leadhership.org, so you can check that out. So I think this is going to wrap
Great.
it up for the Women of Wine Country show. And thank you so very much. We're really happy that we were here, and
Thank
we
you,
look
Terry.
forward. Thanks for
for
coming,
having us.
ladies.
Thank you, Terry, for
Appreciate
having us.
it.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.